As everybody know, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach is set to be released exclusively for the PlayStation 5 sometime later this year. The official release date hasn't been revealed yet, but I look at this and I'm thinking to myself, is making this game a PS5 exclusive a good idea? And the reason I say that is because the original Death Stranding game from 2019 came out on multiple game systems over time. Like it came out on the PS4 in 2019. It came out on Microsoft Windows in 2020, the PS5 in 2021. It was on iPad and mobile devices by 2024, and I think it came out on the Xbox Series X last year as well. So I think it's going to be one of those deals where Death Stranding 2 starts off on the PS5, and it's probably going to end up being on just about every other game system except the Nintendo Switch in the future. And we also learned that a film adaptation for Death Stranding is supposed to be coming out sometime in the future. We have no idea when the official release date for that is going to be. We don't have no idea whether or not it's going to be in theaters or if it's going to be on a streaming app. If I had to take a guess, it'd probably be like on a streaming app or something like that because Death Stranding is still kind of new. And even though the first game did pretty well in terms of sales, I'm not exactly sure whether or not it's one of those games that like a wide audience of casual gamers are familiar with. I know the first game did like 5 mil in terms of sales, and that's actually like, pretty good by today's standards. And and I know like this game right here, Death Stranding 2 on the beach, I do know that we're supposed to be seeing the return of Sam Bridges, who's the main protagonist in the first game, and Higgs, who was the main villain of the first game, supposed to be making a return too. But I guess he's going to sing more in this. I don't know if it's going to delve deeper into his madness or if he's going to be more of a comical character. I have no idea, but all this sounds interesting, and I believe Hideo Kojima, the guy who is developer for this and who also worked on the Metal Gear series since like the 80s, he said that this particular game is in crunch time as far as like the deadline is concerned, as far as upcoming release is concerned, and he said that it's like very intense, and honestly, I feel like when it comes to video games, it's better off if it's polished and it's like well done. Because I know like with crunch time, type scenarios, you have to do a lot in a very short period of time. But I don't want it to get to a point where it's rushed and then you got the final product and it's sloppy and whatever and it's glitchy when it comes out. But I don't know. I feel like Hideo Kojima's been making video games long enough to a point where he knows what he's doing, and I'm confident that the final product of Death Stranding 2 is going to be pretty good. And and yeah, I mean, he kind of like went into details. Like I believe it was on X or whatever. He went into details about like how tough the development is for this game, and he's talking about stuff like essays and interviews and writing comments and discussions and like all the non-game related work. He said is actually pretty tough, and trying to do it before a specific time period is something that's going to put an incredible amount of stress on him. But I do feel that I feel like it's going to be one of those things that when the game first comes out, I could see it doing like a mil, maybe 2 mil, because that was a game. Well, the original game that came out in 2019, that was a game that that like critics liked for the most part. Some people feel like it's slightly overrated, but I feel like it's a pretty unique experience for the most part because you don't see too many games like Death Stranding for the most part because Death Stranding, I feel like it's just one of those games that it just provides a completely different yet unique gameplay experience, something that you don't really see in too many other games that's action adventure or anything that's like RPG related or anything like that. And like the plot for the first game, or basically like the whole like premise for the first game was that the main character was I guess trying to like, reconnect, isolated colonies and stuff like that. So it's a game that's kind of revolves around social connection and stuff like that. And I honestly feel like it's kind of ironic that the first game came out before COVID-19 had hit. And I feel like, this game, Death Stranding 2, it's coming out this year. And honestly, it's really ironic considering the fact that the California wildfires just happened. So I think it's pretty much a game that's about bringing people close together and all that. And I think it's something that would definitely like do well on the PlayStation 5 if it's marketed right, if the pricing is right, if all that stuff tends to work, in Kojima's favor after the game is launched or whatever. But yeah, Death Stranding 2 is one of those games that I feel like hasn't gotten enough like press or attention or anything like that for the most part, because there's so many other games that's supposed to be coming out this year that people are talking about. People are talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows, they're talking about Doom the Dark Ages, they're talking about the Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater game, a game that he should be involved in, but he's not because he's no longer with Konami. I'm talking about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Monster Hunter Wilds, GTA 6. Um, yeah, there's actually a whole bunch of games that's supposed to be coming out. Oh yeah, you have Fable 4 if you want to call it that. There's a bunch of games that's supposed to be coming out this year that people are talking about. And I feel like Death Stranding 2 has the potential to kind of stand out amongst all those other games because of how different it is and because of how successful the first game was. People are looking forward to seeing what the second game is going to be like. But I don't see Death Stranding 2 initially surpassing its prequel in sales like within its first year or anything like that. I could see it happening over time as more game systems are or as the game comes out on more game systems in the future, like Xbox Series X or PC and whatever. But but yeah, I feel like, Death Stranding 2 has the potential to be one of the better action adventure games of 2025 if the game is marketed right, if people are impressed by the final product of the game, and if it tells a compelling story and makes improvement upon what we saw in the first game in terms of gameplay, in terms of mechanics, and stuff like that. But I feel like Death Stranding in general is pretty unique, and it definitely has the potential to evolve into an entire like video game series altogether.